As for Chainsaw Man, I did start off watching it week to week, and I honestly thought it was mid. I got through episodes 1, 2, and 3. Episode 3 is the one where Miyawi got stolen from Power, and she was crying about it and asking Denji if he could go and kill the Bat Devil so that she could get Miyawi back, which was literally her cat that she had planned to fatten up and eat, and then she fell in love with it and became her best friend. And the Bat Devil knew that and said, "I want you to bring me human blood. Otherwise, I'm going to kill your cat." And so that was like the whole premise of that thing was a bit ridiculous. And I started to feel like this anime was an anthology in a sense that every episode would just be like, Denji going around with random unhinged devil girl, and they just have like misadventures and nonsense. Um, to jump ahead a bit, I was really surprised that this anime changes its tone quite a lot midway through.
Mm.
Like, specifically, and we can go back, but specifically the part where Makima is on the train and she gets assassinated with a bunch of her other public safety people. That was the turning point for me with this anime. I thought that this was just going to be like some perverted main character who's probably overpowered because of his devil, which that may still be true. Goes around and just has like crazy adventures every day, killing devils as he's assigned to do. And then like you might have this overarching storyline, but for the most part, that was it. And then when it got to that part on the train, and you watch one of the main characters die like that, I was like, what the like it came out of nowhere. And from that point on, the entire tone of Chainsaw Man and what I thought of it completely shifted. But I will say, to jump back a bit, that I did think they did a good job. Like episodes 5 and 6, if that's the episodes where they were trapped in a building
Yeah,
on the eighth
yeah. I think
floor,
it was around that area.
yeah, I don't know, like the six area, something like that, 6 to 8. I think all of that is where it starts to become really good. But episodes like 1 through 4 or whatever, they're just like obviously world building and setting up,
It's
and
the
so
it's
yeah,
like the classic. It's the classic like anime thing, and I think people make fun of anime watchers or whatever for this, but it's the classic like just watch the first 50 episodes and then it gets good. But like it's the classic, it's the anime classic where it's like just watch the first couple of, because at the end of the day what it is every anime, not every, but most anime, the first however many episodes is like it's got to like prime you for you to even understand what you're looking at before it can
correct.
put you in the world, right? Like even Hunter x Hunter, which is no secret how much I love that anime. The first like couple episodes, even though I personally really enjoyed them, even when I watched them, like they were what they were, and when I went to suggest Hunter x Hunter to people, I needed to prime it like, look, just fucking trust, because like I can get how just looking at the first couple episodes, you feel like I've seen this before. Whatever, it's nothing
Yeah,
interesting.
I it's really funny you say that. Just to interject real quick, Hunter x Hunter is an anime. It's in my top 5 animes ever. Right? It's not even finished. It may never be finished now, but it's my top 5 animes ever. And I don't. I'm a harsh critic. Like I don't give things top 5 ever without it being really really good in my opinion. So Hunter x Hunter is an anime that I also prime it with. The first 20 episodes are mid. Like they're just it's set up, but it's also just a lot of, in my opinion, unnecessary fluff. And then it does that exact same thing that I described in the beginning of this podcast about the shift of the tone of the entire anime changes, and
Mm-hmm.
it kind of never goes back. Like after episode 20 or so of Hunter x Hunter, you discover what Nen is, and that had not been known to you prior to those first 20
Hmm.
episodes at all. The concept of it, the way it works, the way people's abilities work, and all of that was completely hidden from you for 20 straight episodes, which is actually longer than an entire season of like newer anime. Like,
Yeah.
everything is 12 episodes nowadays because of the animation quality. They don't do like Naruto used to do back in the day where anime just air every single week,
Forever.
forever, right? They take these huge breaks that are like 6 months to a year long. I know My Hero actually came back after a little break, and then things like Demon Slayer aired last year around this time or whatever, and then it's coming back soon. So
Bro,
you get the
Demon
idea.
Slayer and My Hero came out like when Naruto and Bleach came out. Just like it's almost fun to imagine the amount of padding and filler arcs there would be. Like think about like
Yes.
what would the filler arcs be? And
Oh, it
you
would
know
for
what I
sure
mean?
be
Like
Nezuko being, I don't know, made what's the one kid who has the lightning ability? I forget his name.
Zenitsu.
It's Zenitsu. It would be Zenitsu constantly making perverted advances at Nezuko. That will be a whole episode of him trying to get at her and her just like not being able to speak back and just kind of
Yeah,
running away,
there
hiding
would
behind
there'd be an
Tanjiro.
episode where she like runs like she gets lost in like a city, and so she's like walking around by herself, and then like Zenitsu's like chasing her and being a pervert, and then so like she needs to go back with him so she can get back with the group, but she doesn't want to go with him because he's weird, and so she's like running around the city, and
There would
that's
be one with Inosuke and him trying to constantly compete against Tanjiro while Tanjiro is just doing regular everyday life things like folding his laundry, cooking. Like Inosuke be like, I can chop better than you, and he's like
yeah.
chopping really, really fast. And then like his pile of potatoes and onions and stuff like that comes out way worse because he's just chopping it as fast as possible, as though that makes the food better, and it doesn't. So like I could definitely see filler arcs. I'm already writing them in my head. But you're absolutely right. If these anime came out years and years and years ago, decades ago, they probably wouldn't be as good overall quality. Well, that's just kind of a fact, right? Because things have just gotten better over time. But also the padding would be way worse. But these new school, I've accepted them for what they are, and I've said this in a previous podcast. I don't go into modern shonen with the eyes that I go into something like Death Note with,
Yeah.
because they're just not apples to apples comparison. Like you're just not comparing apples to apples anymore. Demon Slayer is very fast paced. It's one of the issues, and I'm using air quotes with it. It's one of the issues with that anime is that it's so fast paced that things are just happening so quickly. The main character's getting so much stronger so fast, and you just kind of have to get used to that because the same thing is happening with Jujutsu Kaisen.
Mhm.
The same thing is happening with Chainsaw Man, and I imagine that there are a ton of other anime that I do not watch where the pacing is very quick like that, and that's just kind of the new thing. It's kind of the modern thing to not have your main character develop for, again, Hunter x Hunter 20 episodes before they even discover what
Yeah,
Nen
yeah.
is. Right? Like the main character is shit for more than 20 like even after they discover it, he's still shit for
Yep.
a very, very long time, right? So that is not a thing that is being done anymore. The main character is just like ridiculous from the gate. You wanted to say something?
Yeah, no, I fully agree, and it's funny. This all goes back to what we were initially saying, like the primer of like you said, the first 3 episodes of the show were whatever. Um,
Yeah. Like they was just like him going around killing things. He gets teamed up with Aki. Aki doesn't like him, and at some point I think he kicks Aki in the balls. And I thought it's like a lot of funny
okay,
stuff.
so that did make me laugh hard because like I'm not used to anybody, not even just in anime, really in anything, just like straight kicking someone in the balls like that.
Yes.
And then, like, as Aki went to go get up, he just did it. He was like, why wouldn't I be able to do this again? And just, like, kicks him in the balls again. And then he has a quote. The quote was, when fighting men, you kick them in the balls. Like, that was, like, his quote. Like, he,
Yeah, like the most
like,
basic thing ever. What I love is that Aki did he broke the cardinal rule. There are a couple cardinal rules in life. One of them is that you don't fuck with the people who prepare your food, and another one of them is that you do not spit on someone. Okay? Like that is one of the things that as a kid I was always taught is one of the most disrespectful things that you could possibly do to someone. So Aki, I think at one point he like sucker punches Denji, knocks him into a bag of trash, and then throws his cigarette or puts his cigarette out on his body, and then spits on him to kind of put out the cigarette, but also just to spit on him.
yeah.
And like he goes to walk away as though that was just okay. Like I'm that nigga to steal on. And so Denji, rightfully so, comes up from behind and kicks this man dead in his shit. And I did laugh too because I didn't expect it. Like I thought that was so random. But yeah, I kind of
But
like Denji's character after seeing that part.
yeah, I like Denji's character in general. Like, I enjoy the fact, because for a second, it took me a second to remember, because I didn't rewatch episode 1 after
Mhm.
like watching it and then going back, and I just went right to episode 2 because I remembered most of what happened. But you got
Right.
to take into consideration a big part of his character, and something that is like how absurdly poor he was, like the amount of like poverty
Yes.
he was in. So that has like a play on his character, and something that I appreciate is like the things he appreciates in life and his like dreams in life are so much simpler than everybody around him, to
Yeah.
kind of the point where like they don't believe that could possibly be like his fuel for ambitions, but like it is. Like for him, a warm bed and being able to put fucking jelly on toast is like
Oh yeah.
it's the great, like you couldn't possibly give him anything more. So his ambitions are very
Yeah.
simple, but I enjoy that of his character. He almost has like a childlike innocence to him.
He does. Even though he is obviously a teenager, he definitely does have that childlike innocent quality about him in a sense that not innocent like, oh, I am not capable of doing bad things, but innocent in that he's not he's not a real member of society like how you and I are, and we've been for a very, very long time. We just know, like, we take a lot of things for granted.
Yeah.
We don't really care. Like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, sure, I'll be happy if you made me one. I love Uncrustables. Don't get me wrong. Like I go up for Uncrustables, but it's not like the best thing in life to me, right? It's not
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goal that I will be able to buy and eat Uncrustables for the rest of my life. Like that's not a goal for me. It doesn't really make or break my life at all. But for him, it literally makes or breaks his entire life. And I
Yep.
appreciate that because he cares so much. He doesn't take anything for granted, really.
Yeah, it's like, and you see it when and so I agree with you. One of my favorite, like one of the episodes that like I was in, I was kind of like, oh shit, like this is really interesting. Was when they were stuck on the 8th floor of that hotel,
Oh my god,
and
that whole arc, so good.
the things that were happening, like the one dude went down the stairs and then he came down from the top, and then like
Yeah.
they were going in the door and come like, and everything they were doing was so interesting and trying to figure out what was happening, and that was a
And it was
really
8:18 the entire time, no matter
yeah.
what, the time didn't move, so they were like, "No one's actually gonna come save us because time isn't actually moving in the outside world."
It was really cool. So there was a part where like they can't figure out what to do, and so Denji's just like in one of the beds, and he's like, "This bed's really comfortable," and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna take a nap. Wake me up when you guys figure out like what we're gonna do." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, it'd be a waste to not sleep in this bed. Like it's so comfortable." And then like he just goes to sleep, and
He literally does.
everybody's like,
Snot bubble.
how the fuck is he sleeping in this situation?" And like that's something I appreciate. It's like at the end of the day, he's like, "There's literally nothing I can do right now, so I
Yeah.
might as well like get some rest."
I also think that he says something along the lines of, "Because we have technically infinite time here, I can sleep as long as I want,
Yeah, yeah,
theoretically," right?
yeah.
Like, theoretically, I can just go to sleep, and this is kinda perfect. Time isn't actually passing, so I can
Yep.
sleep as much as I want. And that's a thing that I wouldn't even have considered, right? Like, I would have been in instant panic mode. I would have been the one bitch who was literally a nervous wreck. I think her name is Kobeni.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
I would have been like her. She is absolutely ridiculous. She's another character that's kind of unhinged, but she's a nervous wreck. And so she started panicking in this situation. And I think that I would have been a little closer to her in this situation where you go down the steps and you end up on the same floor. You go up the steps, you end up on the same floor. You open the door, you walk in, and you can like see a mirror of the room across the hall somehow. Like a
Mhm.
lot of weird shit was happening. The time is stuck at 8:18 on every clock. You guys killed a low-level devil when you first entered, but like for some reason, its magic per se did not dispel itself. Hey guys, if you like this clip, we have full video versions of our podcast episodes available on the IMNerd Patreon, as well as exclusive content.
If you'd like to listen to our full podcast episodes or find us on any other social media platforms, you can do so by clicking the link tree below.